Welcome back, John Oliver, ladies and gentlemen. You know, John...
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Wow.
That has to be sarcastic. That has to be sarcastic. That cannot be genuine. I am deeply, deeply suspicious of any appreciation that lasts that long or that loud. That feels hurtful.
I know what you're saying, but in this case, it's genuine.
No way.
Stop
Actually, stop it.
You know how people will have an impression of other people,
sure,
and they're pretty certain through history and experience that it gets reinforced. I had an impression of you that's been completely altered, shattered, if not violated, and I'll tell you what it is. I was told that recently, I believe, performing for troops at a USO function, that you took a taser to yourself.
I did.
Now you see, you don't look like that kind of guy.
That's fair. And I appreciate that.
That's something Larry the Cable Guy would do.
He would get her done in his leg.
That's right.
It needs context. What happens was, I was in Afghanistan. Okay.
This is recent?
This is like a year ago. I was in Afghanistan, and so I was doing gigs for the troops. And all you want to do is make them laugh. And whatever it takes, you want to make them laugh. So I finished one gig, and I walked off stage, and this guy said, "I really enjoyed that. Do you want to tase yourself?"
I really enjoyed that. Do you want to tase yourself?
And the second part of that sentence made me think that the first part was not true. That was very funny. Do you want to cause yourself physical pain to make up for what I just watched? So I said yes, and I tased myself.
No, wait a minute. The guy had the thing.
He had a taser.
There.
He said, like, he offered it up, saying, "Please make use of this taser."
Right.
That we use to suppress dangerous individuals.
Yeah. Now, you're under no obligation.
None.
Even though you have an accent. You're under no obligation.
No, technically I have an authoritative accent. I should have said to him, "I will not do that, ruffian, scurry along." But no, he said, and the worst thing was, it's just me and him in a room and one of my friends. So it's not like it's in front of an audience that will
I thought it was
laugh.
on stage.
No, not that. At least that would be entertaining on a broad level. This was just one dude saying, "Hurt yourself," and me going, "Okay, zap."
Whoa.
And then he laughed, and I did it again.
Now, these things are designed purposefully to disable.
That's right.
Were you disabled?
Well, yeah, and it hurts exactly as much as you'd think shooting yourself with electricity unnecessarily hurts.
Yeah.
And the problem is when you're doing it to yourself, it's even worse, because it's not just self-harm, it's self-loathing at that point.
Yeah.
Go, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Why but it's a hell of an experience.
This is curious.
Yeah.
And it's hard to judge pain for others, but on a scale of, they say, like 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, where was this?
Well, it was definitely, I'm not going to rush to do it again. I don't want to give people the impression that they can come up to me in the street and say, "Do it."
Yeah.
Hurt yourself. I'll do it in a war zone. I'm not Johnny Knoxville, or I'm Johnny Knoxville in a very narrow situation.
That's exactly what it is. You are Johnny Knoxville.
No, I'm not. I'm only in a war zone. In war zone, we are all Johnny Knoxville in a war zone.
Did it leave a mark?
No, yeah, it felt like it should have done. It's one of those things where it hurts so much. You then, I took my trousers off, and there was nothing there, and you think, there has to be a welt of some kind. I need evidence that this happened. Yeah, it's an utterly ridiculous...
Now, let me ask you this,
and
this is long after the fact, so there's really no consequence here. You're sure it wasn't a trick just to get you to take your pants off?
If it was, that was the long game in terms of seduction. I could have done with knowing that when I was 17 years old. "Hello, lady, you want to tase yourself? It's all I've got now." I've tried dinner, movies, tase yourself.
So no mark, left no mark.
No mark, but it's quite exhilarating. It really wakes you up.
Does it burn?
It does burn, but it's afterwards. You're kind of tingling like a really strong cup of coffee. I'm not saying you should do it first thing in the morning. Right. I'm saying if you're trying to get off coffee, it's an option.
Yeah. Now I understand sort of the, "Oh, sure, let me try it once."
Right.
But what was the point in
the
going again?
No, you definitely understand that, because that is the comedian's instinct of zap, I hear a laugh.
Oh.
I want another one of those, zap again. That's when you start hating yourself. That's when you think, I'm pathetic.
Yeah.
I can't believe I only did it twice. Rule of three. I could have got a huge laugh the third time.
It's beginning to sound like a psychological experiment.
I think if it was, I failed it.
Yeah. And knowing your wife's background, you come back to the United States. She's a military emergency medic, trained for combat triage treatment.
She was in there.
She
was watching me do it.
Oh, my God.
With just a look of going, if you're going to claim this as a war injury, you are mistaken, my friend.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so she was just shaking her head thinking, what did I marry?
Yeah.
Cannot have
Does that
been
come up
this.
a lot?
Oh, sure. I don't think any girl fantasizes about her wedding day and then shortly after that, her husband just zapping himself with a taser.
Just because a guy in a uniform said, here you go.
Is this attractive? You're attracted to
wow.
this. Yeah.
Tell me about, I think we talked about your childhood. Where did you grow up? What town?
I grew up I was born in Birmingham, my family from Liverpool, and I grew up in Bedford, which is like the Detroit of London.
So, now going back, Birmingham, is that a huge industrial center of England?
Yeah, it's big. It's a big, a lot of factories, then a lot of factories closed down, then a lot of sadness. That's the history of the city of Birmingham.
And then you moved to the home of the Beatles, Liverpool.
I never lived there.
Never lived there?
Yeah, my whole family was from there. I never lived there, but I went back. I went to visit family there sporadically.
Yeah.
And then lived in Bedford, and then moved to America, and then I'm sitting here.
Did you? It's just that easy, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it. They say. Yeah. That's how it works. I've just given the recipe.
But did you, when I was a kid, I had paper routes. I was always delivering paper routes, and then I worked at a supermarket, and I always had jobs. Did you always have jobs?
Yeah, but I had some pretty bad jobs.
Like what?
Because I didn't really have any tangible skills that were marketable. So one summer I worked when I was a kid in the freezer section of a slaughterhouse.
Oh my God.
Yeah, all right, yeah, it wasn't a great job.
Yeah.
But it was that or join a charismatic band of pickpockets. Breaking sporadically into song, only that doesn't happen, you racists.
Racist?
Yeah.
Wow.
I turned pretty hard.
Yeah.
But I saw the best thing that happened at that job, it was a bad job, was I saw a grown man attempt to steal an entire frozen cow.
Not possible.
I saw him, he climbed inside the rib cage of the frozen cow, and he made us tape it around his body and then tape the cow's frozen legs to his arms and legs. And when I was taping it around his body, I remember thinking, if this is what being an adult's going to be like, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, everything will be fine.
I can do this. And then he made us pull this ski suit, this oversized ski suit over his body, and he shuffled out towards security, leaving a trail of blood and water behind him like a menstruating snail.
Oh!
And I remember the looks on the faces of the security guards. They were looking at him with a mixture of, anger and deep admiration.
Yeah, that's right.
But he got that cow and he inspired me.
Where would he have been taking?
Well, I'm guessing. I don't know. That's a good question. Where do you go with that much rapidly thawing meat? I'm guessing he was going to go and try and sell it in a pub.
Oh, yeah. Who wants...
Yeah, just literally hack it together out with a bread knife, walk into a pub with some bleeding meat and say, do you want to buy this? Oh, what an amazing offer. Where's it come from? Don't tell me. That'll be the thrill when I take my first bite.
Have you been... brainwashed is not the right word, but have you been persuaded to the Super Bowl way of life here in the United States?
Brainwashed is the right word, because I'm on a green card, and I think if I don't watch the Super Bowl,
you're out of here.
I get ejected?
Yeah, you're gone.
I think they come in with
They'll
the
come
zip
by,
lines.
yeah. What are you watching in there?
I think, I love it because it's, it's peak America, isn't it?
Yes, it really is.
It's when America Americanized itself to the full American extent. Yeah, there's something amazing. I'm used to big sporting events, in the world, but I'm not used to seeing fighter jets fly over the stadium at the start and then having half an hour of Katy Perry throwing glitter hand grenades or whatever she's going to do.
Yeah, that's true. It's patriotic.
It's everything.
Religious.
It's patriotic. It's religious. It's happy. It's sad. It's incredibly dangerous on a personal level. And Pepsi sponsored the whole thing.
Yeah,
and we want to love about it.
It's our way of life, for God's sake.
You've got to understand how intimidating the Super Bowl is to the rest of the world. Because when you beam that around the world, everyone else is thinking, if they're capable of this, what else could they do?
Yes, if they put their minds to it.
Exactly.
Well, listen, the second season of Last Week Tonight with
Not
John
canceled.
Oliver. Congratulations. That's great. Beginning the second season Sunday, February 8th, 11 p.m. on HBO. John, always a pleasure.
Thanks, Dave. So good
Enjoy
to see you.
the big game. My God.